Good morning from Sacramento. Today is day 2 of this road trip and we are going to be thrifting and vintage shopping here in Sacramento, California. I'm so excited. I've never been to Sacramento properly. I've only drove through it. So today we are finally going to check out what Sacramento has to offer for thrifting and vintage. Our first stop today is the Goodwill location on Industrial Boulevard here in Sacramento. They have quite a few different Goodwill locations in Sacramento, and I've heard really good things about the Goodwills here. Everyone knows that we are spoiled with amazing Goodwills in the Pacific Northwest, but I am starting to think that it is a West Coast thing because this Goodwill is packed full of stuff too. I love this little hand-painted mirror. It has little doors that open up to show the mirror. This little mirror is only $1.99. This is going to be perfect for adding into a gallery wall because the most incredible gallery walls look best having a variety of different items in them, not just large framed art. These are beautiful vintage smoked glass goblets and they have an M monogrammed into them. Jesse always makes fun of me because I love anything that is monogrammed. Are you with me? Do you like something better just because it has a monogram on it? This massive vase down here is made by Hager, and it even has the original sticker on the bottom. It's got a beautiful dark forest green color on it. I am on the hunt for larger vintage pieces for my Left Coast Flea Market in Oregon this summer, and this is going to be beautiful. I can put some big dried flowers or maybe even some giant palm leaves in it. And it's only $12.99. The texture on this lamp is very Italian to me, but I'm not loving the base of it, so we're gonna pass. The beauty of finding vintage textiles when you are on a road trip is that they double as packing materials. I always make sure to come over and look at the linen section because even though I bring a bunch of bubble wrap with me on my road trips, I usually save some extra room assuming that I'm gonna find great blankets and textiles. These beautiful, colorful Mexican textiles are only $2.99 each. Typically, when I'm looking through textiles, I'm looking for things that are made out of natural materials and not synthetics. Like this beautiful plaid blanket made in Ireland, and it's 100% wool. And it's only $2.99. I believe that plaid is timeless. It's one of the patterns that seems to hold the test of time and can be mixed in with almost any style. I'm pretty excited about this find. These vintage wool blankets typically sell for between $40 and $60. Next up, we are headed to the Goodwill outlet, which is actually attached to this retail location, which is really interesting because we do not have this back in Portland. All of our outlets, boutiques, and retail locations are all separated from each other. I have this exact same pair of Birkenstock sandals in a lighter color, and I think I paid over $100 for them. Everything here at the outlet is sold by weight, so these would probably be under a couple bucks. I get asked all the time where I get my books that I use for staging and on my bookshelves at home, and almost every single one of them has been found at a Goodwill outlet. Back home in Portland, books are not by weight. They are a set $2 per book, or at least the last time I went to the bins they were. We go to the beach a lot, and I even sometimes have picnics in my backyard. So I'm always looking for blankets that are not too valuable and that are machine washable that I can use to throw down in some sand or throw down on my grass and enjoy some nature without worrying about sand or dirt ruining a vintage blanket. The bins is a great place to come if you are looking for blankets for those reasons, or if you just need a packing blanket for hauling all your vintage. This one is machine washable, it is well made, and it has a beautiful, fun, colorful pattern on it. It ended up being only $6.04 for the Birkenstock sandals and the blanket. Next up, we are going to head to a Goodwill boutique in the downtown area of Sacramento. I'm so caught off guard when I walk into this boutique because of the beautiful old brick walls. I wasn't expecting that for a Goodwill location. This might be the most beautiful Goodwill location I have ever been inside. The boutiques are typically more expensive. They're kind of on the top tier. So the lowest price Goodwills are typically going to be the bins, then the retail stores, and then the boutiques. However, I have found some incredible deals that got missed in the boutique locations, especially with pottery. Sometimes they bring things over to the boutique because they are more attractive and they think they're really beautiful, but they still might miss who the maker is of the pottery. And if you're looking for high quality designer clothing, the boutiques are always the place to go to. You're gonna pay more for it than if you found it at a retail location, but they've already kind of done the work for you and you don't have to do as much digging. There's a Goodwill for everybody. Some people want to do the digging at the bins and they will put in more work and more time and a lot more cleaning, but you might find some real treasures for extremely good deals. And sometimes it's nice just to walk into a well-curated store, still be able to buy secondhand, but to be able to find things of higher quality. I love this studio pottery picture. It is artist signed here on the bottom. Does that look like it says Steph to you? S-T-E-P-H? I'm not quite sure. It's $6.99, which is a little bit more than if it would have been at one of the retail locations. Probably would have been $3.99 or $4.99. But an artist signed picture like this is probably worth around $30 to $35 full retail. So we're going to go ahead and get it. And if any of you know who Steph is, please comment below. This short little cutie over here looks a lot like my Victoria Littlejohn pottery that I have. It's kind of interesting. I'm really drawn to this very organic shape. I can never decide if it looks like a sea urchin, a dumpling, or an onion, but I love these weird organic shapes. This one is only $4.99. What is your vote? I would love to know in the comments below what you think this looks like. These shorts would be fun for this summer. I think I might need a couple pairs of shorts for my trip to Italy because the weather's probably going to be pretty warm there in the beginning of June. Not bad. I'm checking out with 3 things and at least I didn't walk out empty-handed. I saw really good reviews about this antique store. It's called the Antique Company. So we are going to go check out what kind of vintage they have inside. This is probably the largest collection I have seen of these Indian carved wood blocks. These wood blocks are used to stamp patterns on fabric. You can also make your own DIY wallpaper with them. I love seeing so many different patterns all together here. This is another thing that a lot of people might not think to put in their gallery wall, but these old wood blocks are a piece of art just with themselves. All of these designs are hand carved into this wood. These frosted glass lamps are almost identical to one that I saw in Italy, so I'm not quite sure if these are Murano, but either way, these are really beautiful, and it's amazing to see a pair of them. So far, my impression is really good. They have a lot of true antiques here at this location. This is so cool. I have never seen this before in all of my years of picking and antique shopping. The tag says it's a German stoneware owl decanter and that the head comes off so you can pour liquor out of it. I am obsessed with this decanter and I wish that I could justify spending $175 on it. I cannot today, but oh my gosh, this has just been added to my bucket list to find. I do not need any more chairs in my house, but look at how fun this pattern is. It looks so Scandinavian with the birds. This design would be the most beautiful wallpaper. If somebody turned this into a wallpaper, I would do a wall in my house for sure with it. This would be such a fun project to DIY if you found a wooden table set for like your kids or even for your dining room, a full-size one that would be appropriate to paint. I actually don't think it would be that hard or you'd have to be too skilled to do something like this. And it would sure be one of a kind. This is a beautiful wooden wall hanging mirror. It's got these two birds, one on each side of the mirror, and it even has a little rest area where you might be able to put keys. It is only $35 and this would be beautiful in our studio office. I'm gonna have an area where we will hang our coats and purses, and this might be great to keep our little post office box key in, and I might even add some little hooks to the bottom where we can hang additional things. And I love having a mirror right by the door so you can check your teeth after eating lunch before you head out to make sure you don't have anything in your teeth. This antique store has three main large areas. So when you walk in downstairs, there's the entry area, and then there's also a huge room off to the other side of the building. And then if you head upstairs, there is another entire room full of vintage and antiques. That antique store is called the Antique Company Inc. And I was just talking with the owners, and the piece that I bought is from Jaipur, India. And that got me really excited because as of right now, I'm planning to do a trip to India in 2024. And I got to talk with the owners about India. They've traveled there before. And one of them was telling me about this festival in November every year. It's a camel festival, and they bring all the camels down from the mountains. They paint them, and they have this whole festival celebrating the camels. I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. When I started my YouTube channel, there was a question that I kept getting over and over again, and that was, what website do you sell on? Before I launched my Squarespace website, I was selling on other platforms, and I was limited to the ever-changing algorithms. Switching to Squarespace completely changed the game for me. I was now able to connect directly with my followers and creatively curate my website to represent the brand that I wanted to build. It has been such a fun, creative journey for me using my Squarespace site, which never stays the same. And that's part of why I love Squarespace. They are always changing things and adding in new features, new customizable templates, and adding in more powerful e-commerce capabilities with Squarespace extensions. These new third-party tools can help you manage your inventory, promote your products, streamline bookkeeping, reconcile and file sales taxes, and even ship your items across the globe. If you are a vintage seller and you are only selling locally, there is the rest of the world that you can tap into. It can seem like a huge transition to start selling your products online, but Squarespace makes it easy. Head to squarespace.com to start your free trial today, and when you are ready to launch your own website, head to squarespace.com/leftcoast for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Next up, we are on the other side of town and we are going to stop by Antiques and Collectibles Marketplace. Everything on this table is only $2. We host an annual bunco night with all of my cousins, my aunts, and uncles, and if you've never played bunco, it is so much fun. Basically, you have 3 dice and you're trying to roll 3 of a kind when you're on that number. Anyways, it's a blast, and if you haven't played it, you should. It's especially fun in a really large group. This is an ashtray, but I'm going to turn it into a cute little succulent planter, and it's only $2. I love a pair of jewelry with meshwork on it, and I like that this is kind of coiled around the large hoop earrings. They are only $15 for the pair. I'm pretty sure they're not sterling silver, but that's okay. It only takes a minute to swap out the hooks for sterling silver. I also love this butterfly cuff, but unfortunately it's alpaca silver, not sterling, and they're asking $60, which I think is a little too much for the alpaca silver. If you are an antique doll collector, this is where you need to come. I know absolutely nothing about antique dolls, but I'm sure someone who's a real collector would be in heaven right now. This is an authentic Pablo Picasso lithograph that is actually signed, and they even have all of the paperwork proving that it has been authenticated. They've got $4,850 on it. Man, would I love to thrift an authentic signed Picasso someday. Okay, I'm not into dolls. I'm not going to be getting this, but I just have to show it to you because I think it's adorable, and I can just imagine how fun it would have been to craft something like this. This entire doll is made out of seashells. They even use shells for her face, and then they hand painted them. My favorite part though is her hair. That is so adorable. It's not the kind of doll you could play with, but it sure is a fun way to repurpose seashells. I am in love with this lampshade. I'm not a huge fan of having things too matchy-matchy, so I would actually take this shade and put it on something that really contrasts with it. A cool metal atomic shape, or even a really tall lamp made out of pottery. So far, this antique store and the antique company that I was at the last stop both have incredible selections of early 1900s furniture. I'm not finding a lot of mid-century modern, but sometimes when you're in an antique store like this that specializes in older furniture, you can find a really good bargain on a mid-century era piece because it's not really what they're into and what they sell. We are going to stop at one more Goodwill before we head to a massive antique mall that has over 300 vendors. I love this pair of cast metal serving utensils. These are great because you can easily hang them on the wall as decoration too. And they are only $1. Look at the size of this place. Woohoo, I'm excited. I don't know about you, but to me, this is vintage heaven. I could get lost and spend an entire day in an antique mall this size. Visiting malls like this are how I have learned so much about vintage because it gives me the opportunity to look and see what other people are selling, how much they're selling it for, and you will never walk out of an antique store this large without learning something new. This mall is actually about a 30-minute drive outside of Sacramento. So if you live in Sacramento and you have not been here, you have got to get your friends and come shopping. I collect the Catherine Holm Lotus pattern, and this is one of my favorite Catherine Holm colors. They know what they have, and they are asking $700 firm for the set of 3 bowls. Even if you are not into mid-century, you definitely want to start keeping an eye out for this beautiful enamel by Catherine Holm. These are so valuable, and recently a subscriber sent me a picture of I think at least 8 pieces that she thrifted at a thrift store for a few dollars each. Hey, this is the piece that I thrifted for my sister's bedroom makeover. It's a 1970s Austin production piece with a mother and a daughter. I found mine at Goodwill for only a few dollars. They've got theirs listed for $95. It was one of my sister's favorite things in the makeover, which, by the way, if you have not seen that episode, you should go back and watch it because we transformed her bedroom completely. It was such a fun project to work on. I love a good weird sculpture, and this bird bowl is pretty fantastic. It almost looks like it's going to be metal, but it is made out of pottery. They've got $89 on it. This is a mid-century Arthur Umanoff magazine rack, and I still don't quite understand how it works. Do you just lean up the magazines? Usually the magazine racks have some kind of an actual holder. The design and appearance on this one is fantastic, but maybe I'm missing something. I don't quite get how it holds the magazines. Maybe it's just for 1 or 2. I think this would be amazing as an art easel. You could have a smaller piece of framed art, so you still get to really see the beautiful design of this. Hey, I had this exact same wooden sculpture not that long ago. Let me see how much they have on it. I always love to compare what I listed and sold something for and compare it to what a high-end mid-century shop would sell it for. They've got $175. I actually think that's really close to what I ended up selling mine for. I think I had mine in the $160 range. This is interesting. I've never seen this sea jerry sculpture. This is by the same artist that did our birds in flight that we have in our living room, but I've never come across this exact one before. And this is why it's so important to get out there and get in stores and keep learning. This mirror is amazing. It's got the Golden Gate Bridge on it, and we're here in Sacramento, so we are not too far from San Francisco. If this was of a Portland bridge, I would probably be getting it and bringing it home with me. So if any of my followers here watching are from San Francisco, someone needs to come and get this amazing mirror. I love this little koi fish pitcher. It's $35. This would be so fun to have out when you're entertaining, and it wouldn't have to just be used with a tea party and have cream in it. If you have an appetizer or a meal that needs a sauce drizzled over it, how cute would it be to have your sauce in something like this? I don't know how many of you remember a few episodes back, I showed the beautiful curtain tie-back knobs that I'm going to repurpose into coat and purse hangers in my office. This is kind of what I'm looking for. I want to find some kind of a beautiful antique wooden piece that I can attach my knobs to. This one is gorgeous, but obviously it already has some. Imagine how stunning this would be turned sideways, hanging necklaces on it. I just want to check the price on this quilt because it's very similar to the one I thrifted in Medford in the last episode, and I got that one for only $75. Sweet, they've got $275 on this, and that's actually about what I was hoping the other one was worth. if this carved onyx piece was not an ashtray with the little slits in it, I would probably pick this up because I think something like this on an entry table would be absolutely beautiful to put your keys in. I love the rough, natural outside edge of it and how the rest of it's polished so you can really see the beautiful grain of the onyx. They've got $70 on it. This is a gorgeous Middle Eastern lamp. I'm not sure if this is Moroccan or possibly from Turkey, but it's got the beautiful multicolored jewels in it, which I love. It is $39, which is a very good price for this lamp. We are getting this because this is going to be so fun to style up in the final episode of this series. And I'm going to be bringing this lamp to the Left Coast Flea this summer, July 15th and 16th. I'm going to have so many amazing lamps, so if you are in need of a new lamp, I hope to see you at my flea market. Not a fan of the lampshade, that's gotta go, but that's okay because I have a whole stash of vintage lampshades at my studio. Look at this pair of yin yang candle holders. They're carved wood. They've got little brass inserts to hold the candle. They are $38, but I'm obsessed with these and I'm happy to support vendors at this vintage mall. And I still think that will leave a little bit of room for profit margins for me. And they're just so cool. I want to bring them to my online shop so one of you can buy them. All right, pause the video because I am looking at the miniature birds in flight and I am so focused that I have never seen a miniature birds in flight before that I completely missed literally the exact atomic tripod birdcage that I've been looking for years, just to the right of birds in flight. I did not see this until I was doing my editing process and I am devastated. The worst part is I don't even know how much it was. If any of you go visit Treasure Trove and you happen to see this tripod birdcage still there, please send me an email and let me know how much it is. I might even try giving them a call just in case. Oh, I'm so frustrated with myself for not even seeing it when I actually had a car that I could have put it in. All right, resume video. I've never come across a small version of the Blackbirds in flight like I have. They've got $500 on the mini version and it says it's signed, so it looks like it's authentic. I don't know if somebody broke off the other half or if they made a smaller version, but now I've got more research to do when I get home. This is a beautiful piece of Florentine Italian pottery. I come across these from time to time. Unfortunately, this one's $125, which is out of my budget today. Well, the antique trove was absolutely incredible. I didn't end up buying very much stuff. I only got the 2 items. However, it was so much fun to walk through that place. I was in vintage heaven, especially the mid-century modern spaces. They were amazing. They have over 300 dealers, and I highly recommend if you come to Sacramento to make the trip there. It's about a 25-minute drive from downtown Sacramento, but even though I only picked up the 2 things, it was absolutely worth it. I learned a lot. You always learn so much when you go into a large antique mall like that. It was super cool, and I highly recommend the place. I didn't get to as many antique and thrift stores as I was hoping to today, but I did fit in 3 different business meetings today, and I met up with a friend from my Morocco trip that lives here in Sacramento. So I had a really wonderful day, and I'm just getting so dang excited about the app NYTCH that I'm working with. We had some great meetings here in Sacramento, and this app is only weeks away from launching. shopping. So keep an eye out for that big announcement when the app goes live. We're rolling it out here in Sacramento. We're rolling it out in Portland, in Southern California, and in Las Vegas. So if you live in any of these areas and you want to be a shopper on the app, or you have a vintage store and you want to be a seller on the app, you can visit my website, leftcoastrevivals.com, and I will have direct links that will give you all the information about the secondhand shopping app NYTCH. I've been working with NYTCH for almost a year and a half, and it is so exciting that it is finally coming to life. It's going to be a wonderful tool for everyone buying and selling secondhand. On my website, you can find a video that explains exactly what the app is and how it works. And if you are not in one of these areas and you want NYTCH to come to your city, all you got to do is help me get vintage stores signed up with NYTCH, because as soon as we have a couple vintage stores in each city, we can roll the app out so that everybody can be using it. Help me spread the word about NYTCH, and you can follow them on Instagram and on Facebook. Well, that is a wrap for Sacramento. Basically, I didn't even scratch the surface here in this city. There are at least 10 more stores I had on my list that I was hoping to get to. But you know what? You can only do so much in one day. That just means that I've got to come back to Sacramento, and next time I'm bringing Jesse, because I really think he's going to love this city. It's a very beautiful city. I had no idea how beautiful the neighborhoods of Sacramento are. I have only drove through Sacramento when I've been on road trips, and I'd never really stopped to see the city. I stayed in an Airbnb in the most beautiful historical neighborhood. I wish I would have had another day here so that I could get up and go on a morning walk and get inspired by all of the landscaping and the beautiful homes. This road trip is continuing tomorrow morning. We're going to get up bright and early, and I am headed to Los Angeles for the Sunbeam Vintage meetup. By the way, Sunbeam Vintage is going to be selling on NYTCH. I am so excited they're going to be a seller. They have some of the best mid-century modern furniture and home decor you can even find. And now those of you who are local in Los Angeles, you're going to be able to find their amazing vintage even easier. So that's it for Sacramento for this trip. I'm super excited about the happy hour meetup at Sunbeam Vintage. It's going to be really fun. So I will see you there.